just
Okay.
just chat really. Is there anything
Well,
you do or don't want to talk about while we're here?
man, I don't even know, you know. Like I think me and Rachel's kept our things a little bit kayfabe, but like, what is kayfabe now? I don't even know anymore, man.
Well, look, I'm probably gonna just call you Cam during the thing, but
That's cool.
if you
Yeah,
wanna, if we'll go in, we'll talk about the gimmicks and stuff as well. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, no, it'll be easy.
Oh,
Um,
how you been, man? Long time no see, man. Oh my gosh.
yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm just same old, really. Just keeping busy doing the podcast, doing
Yeah.
whatever I can. What you been up to?
Oh, staying alive. Staying alive. Not really much, man. Just like following the quarantine rules and stuff as much as possible.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And we just I probably could explain all that. I don't know. We'll see. Sorry.
Well, so like during all this time, during like lockdown and everything, what in particular stuff have you been up to? I know you like gaming and stuff. You've been playing a lot of
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, a lot of games, man. I'm a pro. So has this thing started now?
Yeah, yeah, we're in, man. We're in. We're going.
Whoa. Okay, what's up, people? How you doing? Oh my gosh, Ragwan. Yeah.
There he is.
So, yeah, man. Um, okay, so yeah, no, gaming is my speciality, you know. I've been gaming for years, so like this ain't really nothing when it comes to it, you know. I'm just glad I got all the equipment ready and stuff, and I just, play,
So
go online, just get angry.
what games in particular have you been playing like now during lockdown and everything?
Hon- Honestly, I do like to get under people's skin because if I'm really good at a game and talented at it, I'll let you know. Games like Tekken, Red Dead Redemption, I've still got
Nice,
someone's PS4, so
nice. So who's
been
your
playing all that.
who's your go
UFC.
to who's your go to character on Tekken?
Go-to character. So again, I try to make the character as close as I can make it to myself, which is how I started my wrestling career. But characters like Bruce Irvin.
Hmm.
So I play Tekken Tag tournaments, so that requires like two characters mainly. So my two go-to characters is usually Bruce Irvin and Asuka.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, dynamic, but it works. It works really well usually, unless they're super pro.
Yeah, see, mine was always martial law, well, the other one used to sort of vary. It would either be King, Heihachi, or
Yes.
Kazuya.
Wow, that's what's up, man.
Yeah, those were like my top four.
Yeah.
I know
Okay.
everyone my age who I used to play with though. Everyone used to love playing as Eddie Gordo, the guy who did the capoeira.
Yes.
I like
Yes, absolutely.
I loved the character, but I hated playing as him because it was just a nightmare to actually do anything with.
Yeah, he was tricky, man. He was tricky. Yeah, capoeira, man. That's a sport. Like, I went out with someone like 2 days ago, and they started actually doing capoeira. Just brought really good. Yeah,
Okay.
that was a lot of fun to watch and listen to as well because they not had music behind it. It made it extra exotic. So that might be something I might take up soon as well.
I mean, yeah, you can
Yeah.
implement it in your wrestling. Like it was funny actually. I know how you like to sometimes watch gaming videos on YouTube and stuff. And I remember I saw, in fact, no, actually, it was while I was playing. I was playing some Tekken like a few months back, and then I saw like a
Right.
clip. I saw like a clip on the replay back, and as I was playing, I can't remember if I was playing as Eddie or against the computer who was Eddie, but Eddie hit a move basically, and it was kind of like a weird version of a reverse Hurricane Rana. And I was like, oh man, that's a
Yes.
sick move. I could never do it, but
Yeah,
someone could.
absolutely. Yeah. It's the grapples. I'll give you a hint. It's a triangle circle type thing together. Yeah, it's a weird capoeira. I think it takes the person to backflip with it
I
as
love that.
well.
I love that you not only know what the move is, but you know the buttons that I need to push to do it again.
If you ever wanted to use it.
That's brilliant. Well, speaking of going into wrestling, I guess a bit. So, for
Yes.
anyone who doesn't know, please, I mean, I will have already introed you anyway earlier on, but please explain who you are in the pro wrestling world.
Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh.
You're a
Right.
man of many hats.
Yes. So in the wrestling world, I've somehow managed to become the Buffalo Soldier himself.
Hmm.
Um, Bob Marley's character, Buffalo Soldier, dread like a razor. And yeah, just emerged that character as much as I possibly could with the tools that I got. Also in Lucha Britannia, one of the best shows you could ever go to if you live in the UK somewhere. Lucha Britannia, I am the El Rey Anansi, the Spider King, or the Spider God, as they might call it.
Hmm.
Um, and so, yeah, this one's a trickster. Well, he should be a bit of a trickster, but he basically has more of a crawly type of move set towards him and stuff. Unfortunately, he's about as tall as a giraffe. So, trying to keep that real is tough. But again, he's a spider god, so he could be any size or any shape, and has mysterious moves that people still don't know how to this day do. So he has a little bit of parkour, climbing up walls type stuff to him from time to time. And on hopefully I'm not going too fast. I'm trying.
No, no, go for it, mate.
Yeah, on Frontline show I'll be Cam Lucia.
Yep.
Cam Lucia, upcoming wrestling superstar, a protege of Will Ospreay because Will Ospreay got us started. We managed to pass the training camp, and about the start of it, 10 individuals was picked, and I was one of those people.
Yep.
Really grateful. And yeah, we basically help out the talent nowadays, wrestlers like OJMO or Chris Ridgway. So if they finish their match, trust me, you get battered and bruised in matches like these ones in particular. So we're the aiders. We make sure their clothes are folded because I tell you what, clothes are expensive. So
They
it's
are.
good to always have someone to pick it up, bring it backstage, because if you forget some bits and pieces like a knee pad, trust me, oh my gosh, it's hell. Yes.
Well, I mean, before we get into like too much of like the lucha stuff, and we'll get to that in a bit, and I'll talk about Buffalo and Anse and all that. Let's talk then a little bit about this stuff with Frontline, because obviously you mentioned there you're one of the young lions of Frontline. You did the training camp that was 2 years ago now. So
Yes.
what was that kind of like? What was the
Whoa.
training camp like?
We had to all be young Rockies, We had to run about, I think it was about 3 times around the whole block. It was a lot of hard work, There was a lot of people very tired during, so you have to be very conditioned
Mm.
in the training. There are times like you would feel like you want to give up, but again, the spirit of the lion shows who are the ones that will stick around and really want to get further and do more, and the ones that are really not quite cut out for it. The most shock I'd probably say to the system, and I remember a lot of people watching us doing it, was someone was taking up the warm up, and Young Lions, the originals, they don't play. So we got very lucky, but there was a time where if you're not used to it, you would have to do, what was it, like 300 squats or something like that. It led up to a maximum number where it was 100 of everything.
Hmm.
And walking up the stairs and down the stairs after the show, and continuing wrestling afterwards. I tell you what, trying to jump for, if you're a high jumper like me, and you're taking a hip toss, I tell you, your legs, you like, wow, it was a whole new condition that we had to really get used to. And I heard like Will Ospreay, that stuff is nothing to it. He had to do a whole bunch of that stuff, and tenfold, like 1,000, and continue. So props to him for being able to do that and continue in there. Yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know obviously you guys did, yeah, you had your first day where you were doing all that, there was the conditioning exercises, and then you had to go back the second day, which I can imagine was probably tough on the mind, having to go, but like try to
Yeah,
get the energy to go back again. But you did it, and you got through and ended up becoming a young lion, and you've been there now for a couple of years doing that. And yeah, like you got got on TV recently as well, which was cool.
Wow, yes, that's amazing. Like, yeah, and getting to know the new like young lions and the old ones is like, yeah, that's a challenge in itself. You know, you don't know who's who. I think everyone's on the fence as well because we're competitive.
Yeah. So
In a
who would
way.
I know the young lions, obviously they've had training with a lot of different pros and stuff out there. Is there any in
Mhm.
particular that like you really enjoyed, like the training seminars?
Oh, training stuff. Oh, like to
Anyone
be
who sort of
honest,
stands
all the
out?
stands out. I did like yours and Malik's. Those two was a load of fun. They were a nice break.
I mean, I
Tony
wasn't. I
Storms
was.
had a very good one.
There you go. That's better. I wasn't
Yeah.
G'ing that up so you could put me on. But I appreciate
Yeah.
that. But no, yeah,
No,
I can imagine the Tony Storm one was very good.
yeah, it was lovely. I mean, like, of course, we don't know what's in store, so there'll be a lot of names that because I enjoyed every last one of them. You know, it was it was tough mentally to get into because you don't know what you're about to run into, especially as the first training session was probably the hardest one. Um, but yeah, the like all of them had a lot to offer. They were amazing. Tony Storm, Paul Robinson, his one was amazing. Of how he taught us how to hit people properly and stuff. Will Ospreay has been teaching us, over the years how to do stuff properly, and yeah, it does work out. It's definitely beneficial if you want to do, the stuff that particular business the right way.
Yeah.
You know,
No, that's
yeah,
good, man. That's good. So obviously that's what you've been up to in frontline and stuff. So let's move on now to lucha, the kind of the basis of this podcast.
yes.
So I mean, I guess the best way to start really is let's go all the way back. How did you get into wrestling?
Whoa.
If you can
Okay,
remember.
so yeah. Oh, by all means. I've been a I've been a fan for ages. Uh, gosh, I'll probably take up the whole day with this, but yeah, I've been an absolute fan, mark, whatever you want to call it, for a while. It's something I really wanted to do. Um, you get setbacks easy because there's a certain expectation of what wrestling should be, has been, and how people want to keep it sometimes. So you have to look the part, basically, as well. That some of the, you got to look strong, tough in a way. I think nowadays, along with the UFC, the fighters are no longer as big as they used to be. Um, so yeah, and wrestling tends to imitate a lot of reality at the same time. So basically, in about what was it, 2015, I realized wrestling was very close to where I lived. It was just me just having the balls to go out and pursue it. Um, so I didn't really. I came in to just spectate, see how things is done, and if it's something I would like to get into, go for it. So yeah, we went through Greg Burridge and Gary Vanderhorn for the first time. Had people like Maria. I walked through the doors. I was expecting a load of muscle-bound, angry individuals that are just ready to kick you out of the the area because you're not strong enough and you ain't got enough to handle and stuff, like a little bit like tough enough. I was expecting.
Yeah.
But what I saw was a bunch of fans that wanted to actually become wrestlers just like me, a skinny old me at the time. So it felt like family the moment I walked through the door. So that was pretty amazing at the Resgal in Bethnal Green. And yeah, it's been something that, like, some people have a natural ability to adapt to what you need to do. Just a few things that need tightening. Some people take a while. And yeah, but it basically is what it is, it didn't take too long to actually get into it, and I did have a lot of time on my hands to continue doing this through the pain and the struggle and keep going.
Yeah.
And
So I know you said you were like a fan for years before you even kind of decided to take up wrestling. So like,
absolute mark.
what would you say if you can think back? What's like the earliest memory you have of watching wrestling? Like, what's the first thing you remember like seeing?
Okay. Right. So, let's see now. Like a wrestling match,
Oh,
I would
anything,
imagine.
anything at all. Like, because like for me, when if you were to ask me like what the earliest thing I remember seeing in wrestling, I mean, I'm sure
Okay.
I saw stuff before this, but I think the
Yeah.
earliest like actual memory and like thing I remember seeing and thinking, oh, that's wrestling, was like they had like a big thing where it was like who ran over Stone Cold Steve Austin, and it was just like this big
Yes.
storyline
Oh my
going on at
God.
the time. So that's kind of like the thing that I guess pulled me in. So what would you
Yeah.
say is the thing that kind of pulled you in and made you like become a fan?
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. Okay. Well, going back exactly back to what we were talking about in the first part of the video. A nice game of PlayStation 1 Tekken. Tekken. Now, Tekken, wow, everyone's got a story in Tekken. It's very similar to London Lucha League. We got a diverse characters ongoing that we just want to know the background story to what they are.
Yep.
So Tekken, I studied a lot of characters in Tekken. What we had, martial law, and a blatant, obvious copyright version of Bruce Lee.
Yep.
So I go and watch some Bruce Lee movies, and wow, that's I always wanted to adopt characters, and wish I wanted to be every character at every point because I was young and and yeah, I just wanted to fight and do new things, backflips and stuff. Callum Newman, I envy his backflips. He can do very good backflips and stuff. Um, so yeah, martial law was the first character I studied. I think after a while I started getting into Jack. So the closest thing I could find was Terminator movies. So I watched Terminator 2. I was like, wow, Jack was so awesome. I just based the two off each other. And along comes King. King, man. And King was a wrestler, a luchador to be exact. I guess he started off as a wrestler just a regular wrestler in there with, I don't know. So then I started watching WCW. Boom. In there. Juventud Guerrero. Booker T was in there. I'm like thinking, wow, what characters can I relate to and all that stuff? And then all of a sudden, I know people don't like, I don't want to, spread out too much negative info, but along came Bill Goldberg and wow, he came in, he smashed, I think he won a handicap match or something. He just kept on coming every week.
Yep.
On the show and just destroying everyone. I was like, wow, wrestling is awesome and stuff. And whether it was people's idealism of what real is and what not, it was entertaining as heck. And then, boo, my auntie, mom was having a conversation in the same room as I was watching wrestling, and there was a kick that didn't look quite right, and then they stopped me from watching it for the longest time.
Yeah,
And it
I
was
think
like,
I had the similar thing. My mum put me on a wrestling band for a couple of years.
there you go, right? Yeah, you know what I mean? And it was heartbreaking because there was still an emptiness in me that was like, what's begun? There's so many, wrestling that's been missing. So I'm hoping there's some people I could relate. I don't know who my fans are, to be honest, besides, the few that come often. So, if I'm one of those people, well, here's my journey a little bit. Yeah, so one of my friends was still into wrestling in primary school. I barely knew the names of the wrestlers because I am bad with names to this day. And everyone picked their characters. I'm like, shoot, who should I be? Bear in mind, don't try this at home. That totally went out the window. And I just played some wrestling. He borrowed me his wrestling game. And this is meanwhile I was playing the Wu-Tang Taste of Pain and doing this Rumble Pit thing and stuff. So he asked me about my Wu-Tang and stuff. I was like, I do Rumble Pits. He's like, that's not a Rumble. I'm like, yeah, it is. It's the Rumble Pit, Wu-Tang. And what does he go and introduce me to? Oh my gosh, he introduced me to the Royal Rumbles where you could pick any wrestler on the roster once you get eliminated, SmackDown 1.
Wait, so hang on. Is this
there you go.
This where your love for the Rumbles came from?
We're getting to that, man.
This is where we get. Okay, cool. I'll let you carry on then. You carry on.
I familiarize my way around everything and make it my home. That's what I do. Yeah, so yeah, my boy, shout out to Yaya. I don't know what he's doing with his life these days. He gave up the dream. A lot of my friends just gave up the dream and thought, nah, admin, and of course, yeah, that's what life teaches you sometimes. Don't live the dream, just make money, be somebody, be realistic, do stuff that can get you a career. I was like, fuck that. I was in that position. So yeah, introduced to wrestling. The first person that I could come across, because I liked Men in Black, Will Smith, Men in Black, the movie.
Yep.
I thought I had a lot of similar traits to Will Smith at the time because I did not have dreadlocks. I generally looked like Jaden Smith. So I was looking at characters like, which one's the closest that could look like either like Will Smith or someone I know? Boom. Along came Devon Dudley, and I was like, right, I gotta remember the name, Devon Dudley. I got eliminated in the first 2 seconds by China or something like that. So the next time I came play fighting, I came in as Devon Dudley. Everyone celebrated because I finally found a wrestler that I could pick. Okay, so where are we now? Moving forward, I started watching some wrestling tapes. No Way Out 2001. Watching them do their things properly and stuff. So I get to watch proper stuff like Chain and a few bits of pieces, story modes, story people and stuff, and storylines. And yeah, then wrestling becomes that extra bit more interesting. Alliance Invasion is what got me back on track at the time, was where I was at. Alliance, WCW, ECW versus WWF. Yes.
It's funny actually because it's weird because I don't think me and you have actually really spoken about a lot of this stuff. But hearing you talk about it
We
now,
really have.
it actually sounds a lot like we've got very similar kind of timeline of wrestling because pretty much 2001 was. I mean, I was watching here and there like before that, like 2000, I would say was probably the first year I actually understood wrestling, but it wasn't until 2001 that I was like watching like religiously every week. Like I was watching
Yeah.
WWE SmackDown. I was watching like the first proper storyline I remember fully investing in was. I mean, I tried to get into the Who Ran Over Austin thing, but still wasn't watching regularly.
Yes.
But then, like the first
Yeah.
proper storyline that I like fully invested in was the build up to WrestleMania 17, which was that
Whoa.
year, and then the next big storyline was the whole invasion thing. And again, a lot of people shit on the invasion storyline because it wasn't what they wanted the WCW invasion to be, and it wasn't all of the big WCW names like Goldberg and Hogan and all that. They weren't there.
Totally
But
understood. Yes.
to me, I enjoyed it because I had no idea what WCW even was at the time. I didn't understand
Absolutely.
what any of it meant. So I was like, yeah,
Yes.
this is wicked.
Yeah, absolutely. The amount of episodes that was missed from there, it was like, wow, who are these? And I didn't know Booker T was the Booker T I saw in the era because he changed his Bobby Brown haircut to little ringlet plaits and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then I just found out, oh shit, that one of my friends who unfortunately passed away through a knife stab in London as well, 2007. Yeah, he told me that was the Booker T back in the day. I was like, wow, okay, right, this is what's up. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was an interesting time in wrestling. So fast forward then, so that you're into wrestling now, 2001. Fast forward all the way to 2015. You've now come to the London School of Lucha Libre. You're training. You're starting out. Tell us about how it came to be. How did you get your first match? How did that all come about? What was that, if you remember?
Whoa. So apparently. London Lucha League was a myth. It happened before, but none of us, well, the new guys didn't really know about it, and it wasn't as successful because it's pretty successful now. It's no longer a student show anymore, is it?
No.
Okay, so yeah, so we started it. We had random matches. Everyone had their cards, and we actually got our first experience. In fact, no, it wasn't London Lucha League. It was Lucha Britannia show. We was the Acolytes, Gary Van der Horn. Mm-hmm. He came up to me and Ned and he says, right, we need you in gold gear on Friday. And it was Wednesday night. So we had about a good day to get ready. That was the first input.
Okay, so tell us about the Acolytes.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I just want to get this out of the way. Listen, you never know when not London Lucha, well, any type of wrestling in the wrestler is going to happen. What you got to know is if you are called, Please be ready because you never know when these opportunities come. Anyway,
Sure.
going back to it. So, Resgal, right? So, accolades. Yeah, we had a bit of gear here and there. Luckily, and our segue was we were going to appear from under the ring. So we were there for when everybody was slamming on top of bodies and stuff, and we just hear like tombstones and pile drivers or whatever. And our segue was we come up from under the ground and we interfere and beat up a few people here and there.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Mike Shanti would then come in as the big superhero because he had the look, his body was amazing, and he was basically going to throw us around for being the bad boys that we were. And we was meant to help out Marduk Malik.
Yep.
And it came to that. We came up from under the ring. It seemed like a little bit of a shock moment. Like, oh, who are these guys? I tried to be as intimidated as I possibly could with the physique I actually had at the time. I don't know if that worked, but I was the guy with the dreadlocks. So hey, that was something. And yeah, we I think we beat up the Baker Wells for a bit and stuff, and kicked him around a bit until rest his soul, Mike Shanti came out, and yeah, I took my first press slam, Goldberg press slam into a power slam
Nice.
move. That point, whether we bumped in feed right, I think time froze for me when I was in the air when Mike Shanti had me in the air, and
Yeah,
I
I
looked
can
at the
imagine.
crowd
He's a
like
big dude.
they had the ooh going on for the first time. I'm just a trainee. I've seen a couple of shows, but actually being there and watching the crowd from there, I'm thinking, wow, this is what it's like before you're getting slammed. It just numbed whatever pain was there, and it was like, right, okay, we're finally on the shows. So that's that point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, like you said earlier, going back to your previous point about always being ready for in case you never know when you're going to get asked to be on a show. That was
never know.
pretty
Always
much
bring your
that,
gear.
that was exactly, but that was like you'd never been on a show before, and you got a couple of days' notice. But this was your
Yeah,
chance to kind of get your foot in the door and get on a show. And you were,
yeah,
I mean, the acolytes thing lasted a little while. I don't think it lasted ages, but it did. It got you and Ned some experience on the shows, working in front of a live audience and stuff. And it, actually
absolutely.
it benefited the character of Malik as well. So yeah, no, ended
Yeah,
up being really good. And then from there, you ended up on the London Lucha League shows, and you had your debut as the character who I would assume most people who know who you are know you as, and that
right,
would be
Tagwan.
there he is, the Buffalo Soldier himself.
Yes,
So how
the
did
development.
Buffalo Soldier get born? How did that all come about?
Okay. Yeah, we're on London Lucha League. Clearly, we can't be ourselves because I don't think we're as interesting as the characters we make
Hmm.
ourselves. We got to try. I knew we had to try and stand out. I knew the dreadlocks wouldn't be enough because the amount of wrestlers that probably walk through the door with dreadlocks wouldn't matter. So, I was going to go for my gaming character. Um, that I don't know if I'm going to leak this one on this live stream, so people might have to stay tuned for that one because wow, that's a story in itself. Um, but
Is this
I
the
tried to
story about the character that you pitched to Greg, and that but
right.
you wouldn't tell him what it meant?
No,
Yeah.
absolutely not. No, but I tried to get the initials of the characters, but the problem is people want to find out the initials. I didn't know if I wanted to get into that, so I just thought, you know what? I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to challenge myself a little bit. Kofi Kingston, okay, not to say he completely, because I always thought we got all the characters in the book. My ancestors are from the Caribbean. Where are the Caribbean wrestlers? So when he came out to his theme song, and we actually thought, it was, the Jamaican proper, it was like, wow, okay, we finally made it in the WWE.
Yeah.
Just by that.
I'm
So,
guessing
and
you were
he dropped that.
heartbroken when you. Yeah, I'm guessing you were heartbroken when you found out he was actually from Ghana.
I was heartbroken, but I did understand. I did understand. Of course, it's too good to be true. It is too good to be true, you know. how's he gonna be put under the spotlight? Yardies, they're not that happy, man. You know, they got to do their things to survive. You know, however you cool runnings or whatever did, you know, put in a nice limelight of the paradise of Japan. It ain't always like that, and you know, I know some people that they're not like that all the time and all that. So it gave me the opportunity to bring in a little bit of dimension and probably continue the character, because that was a likable character and it just got dropped without any storyline behind it. That's what I wanted to change in my thing. So at the moment, there was no Caribbean, Jamaican, well, Carlito, but Jamaican characters out there that was preferable. So that was my market right there, and I tried it just to see if have I missed anyone? Is there anyone who has got it, so I could just drop it and then give it to them? Turns out, no, there really is no Jamaican influences in wrestling in general, you know, and if there ever is, it was probably not idealistic too, because they're seen in some ways in a negative aspect, in a way. Right. You know, so I thought, fuck it, I'll make my own version. Sorry for swearing. I'll make my own version, cool, and I'll show you there is a spotlight to it. Hey, here I am. You know, how are we going to relate to certain people in the audiences? How are we going to get a bigger market of people? Like, symbolically, I just had it. I'm a fan. You know, I got my roots. You know, where are they? You know what I mean? So it was just a way to bring more people in to watch wrestling. You know, in different areas. I decided Buffalo Soldier. Right. For the people that really know me, you would know I know horoscopes like the back of my hand.
Yeah. Well, let's not go too deep in that, because I've actually got something on that I want to talk to you about in just a bit. But go ahead.
Okay. Right. So I'll just lay it small. There's a thing called, for the people that don't know, there's a thing called primal horoscopes. Whether you believe in it or not, I don't know. Try it, don't try it, whatever. Chinese horoscopes, your yearly sign and your monthly sign. They're both two different things. If you put them two together, they make a sign in itself. Well, I figured out that Taurus plus Year of the Ram equals Buffalo. Boom. Wow. So that's the first part. I've listened to reggae artists, you know, reggae tracks and stuff. I love the stuff. It is nice and cold. Not just listen, I just embellish. So it's definitely a huge part of me. So I had to keep it reggae at the same time, you know. So what we got? We got Bob Marley. I can't use Bob Marley, but we use Freddie Mercurial. That was the guy who inspired me. Freddie Mercurial in Lucha Britannia shows. Check him out. His moonsaults is awesome. And he's Freddie Mercury as a wrestler, basically. He used a legend that is no longer with us. And that right there was like, wow, who else can you bring back? So my original character was Kaz Marley, the Buffalo Soldier.
Oh, wow.
And that was the first guy that came. We had a tag team match. Greg asked me, okay, you got an hour to pick your character. You know, I was going through loads of names in my head, bits that I wanted to make it as true to my personality as possible. You know, I didn't want to go too far outside of the loot. And that's when the crowd chanted for the first time, Buffalo or Buffalo Soldier or something like that. So I was recommended, all right, take Kaz Marley out the picture. Cam, you are now Buffalo Soldier. Boom. I took that ball and I ran with it as much as possible. And I was still speaking the way I'm speaking right now on the shows. So, yes. So after a while, we won our first match. The crowd was so awesome. You know, it was after that Lucha Britannia show I was talking about. It was the day after, I think, or 2 days after. So in there, I had a bit more experience just by a day than a lot of the roster did. So it didn't really, the nerves didn't get me as much, but getting back to the curtains afterwards, like that was probably one of the most emotional parts of my life, because one of my goals was try out wrestling, try get on the show, see how it goes. If it's something that I could see myself doing in the future, I will continue. So whoever was in the crowd, I thank you to this point, because this was the be all and end all. I was either going to do this and realize it's something I'd love to do, or I was going to pack up my bags and say, well, thanks for the experience. At least I tried it, and then do whatever. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, like going to what you were saying about trying to keep it as much to the real you as possible. I think that shows, and that's a lot of the reason why crowds, especially at Lucha. I mean, I've seen you wrestle outside of Lucha many times as well now, and no matter where you wrestle, crowds tend to always get behind you and enjoy you. And
Yeah.
I mean, it says a lot to me, because it's like you for me, like the three biggest baby faces that we kind of have at Lucha are, I
Yeah.
mean, obviously the top baby face is Cassius. Like nobody will ever,
Definitely. Oh my
no one
gosh.
will ever come close to the level of babyface love that Cassius gets. Then the next two like closest people to like that kind of a pop are you and Mikey Disco Diablo, or Bruno Brown. And it's
Yes.
just, and the reason for that, for in my eyes anyway, is because you're relatable. Like anyone who looks at any of the three of you, it's like you can't help but want to cheer you guys, because you're just good people and you're happy people, and it comes across in the characters. So I think that's a credit to you. And like obviously I can tell just by talking to you now and the way you were talking about it, that a lot of effort's gone into not only like the in-ring side of things, because I've seen that through like being at training with you, but through like the character stuff and the amount of like effort you put into like making that character work, and it comes across.
Man.
So yeah.
Thank you, man.
It's cool, bro. It's all good. It's all love here, man. But
That's what's up,
let's talk a bit now about, I mean, not just, I mean, you can make mention of more lucha matches if you want, but let's talk about some of your favorite kind of moments and matches that you've had. What kind of,
Oh my gosh, yes.
what,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying pick your all-time favorite, but I mean, unless you have one, but if you got a couple that stand out, or a couple that may be online that you want to recommend that people check out if they want to see what you're all about, what would you kind of say has been some of your favorite moments that you've had in your career?
There are two matches where if I retire because of COVID or whatever it is, God forbid that does not happen. The two matches I can always look back on and be proud of is my birthday match against Bo, with the antagonist, Kosta, picking on my mom
Oh, yes,
at the time. Wow, I don't know what happened. Like, this was one of those moments where even getting ready for the match, I had a good feeling about the match, and there was nothing much really to go over. There was really nothing much to go over. There's some matches where you just got to like remember every single thing, and and leaves less room to be organic with it. But yeah, it was easy. It was an easy day that day, and I think the crowd felt it at the time. It was an amazing experience. I had some funny moments and stuff. The commentary was crazy. But
it's funny actually, because that was one of the matches that we have a segment on this show where we have the recommended match of the week now, and that was actually the match, both of the matches that you had with Bo, actually, that are both on the London Lucha League page. On the last episode, those were our matches of the week that we recommended people go and check out.
Wow, man. Yeah, those are one of the matches that makes you realize you've made a mark. And condolence to London Lucha League. We're now a proper platform because of, and there's plenty more matches on that card. Don't get me wrong. There's tons, but like London Lucha League is, you're going to get something awesome, when that show comes up. And it's because of matches like that, moments like that. You want to make the best out of your moments. That's the main part. Wrestling's great, but if you have those moments that can make a crowd feel a certain way, that can make them scared that something bad is going to happen, like a chair shot in the back. Turn around, please. And then Buffalo slowly turned into his fate, and then boom, it turns everything around, and all of a sudden you're now family with the crowd after you fit. It like I can't express how that works, but I think you can really it's too much to explain. You know, you just got to come to London Lucha Leagues and basically come and see us. Is what I'm saying, because there's never endless moments.
Yeah.
That match, yes. And if I was going to pick one more just at the hat,
go for it.
my first match, second match in IWL, OJMO.
Yeah.
That was that one right there. OJMO, wow. Condolences to his performance. That guy is it's great to watch him grow as a performer. I got a chance to wrestle him in a 20-minute-ish type match. And Jody Flash. Oh, there's too many. Sorry, but that match I look back at, and it's one of those matches where I won't change anything about it.
Yeah,
you know that there's nothing that I think that I can just squint my neck muscles because that I felt that could have gone better or something like that. That match was a load of fun, and it did not require. It almost didn't require any type of preparation. It was just organic. Yeah. I think I gave OJMO, which he might be able to explain in one of his podcasts, a spot that he didn't think about at the time. But I was like, wow, why don't we mix this with that? And then, whoa, that might get a reaction right there, and it worked. So that was one of my proud moments.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I mean, you just reminded me. You name dropped Jody, so I want to talk about that quickly because
whoa.
Let's talk. I mean, so the Project W show, I think it was the second Project W show we did. So for anyone who doesn't know, Project W is run by myself and Malek and a couple of others. And we had done the first show. It was going to be a one and done thing, but the show went so well, we decided to do a couple more. And then the second show came about, and we'd used Jody Fleisch on the first show. And I went up to Jody after that show, and I said, we're going to, a few weeks later when I saw him at another show, I said to him, we're going to do another show. Is there anyone in particular you would like to wrestle? Now, bearing in mind, you hadn't been on the first show, and I didn't even know, and no offense to you, but I didn't even know if Jody knew who you were. And I was expecting Jody to say like a big name, someone like to get on something like that. And then he said to me, I'd like to wrestle the kid with the dreads. And then
that's a testament to Jody.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I paused for a second because I couldn't think of who he meant for a minute, and then I realized the only person with dreads at the time who I knew was you. And I was like, do you mean Cam? And he said, yeah. And I was like, okay, awesome. Yeah, let's do that then. That'd be a great match for both of because Jody's obviously incredible. Like Jody's just
amazing,
an unbelievable pioneer of British wrestling. I could do a whole podcast just bigging up Jody Fleisch. But then for you at the time, like you were still relatively new in your career because this was, I think you were like 2 years in maybe at the time, something like that.
Yes. Upcoming. Yeah.
Yeah, and like the match, it was awesome. Like I remember on the day, like I think the match is actually online on YouTube if anyone wants to go check it out. Buffalo Soldier versus Jody Fleisch, and it ended up being probably one of the best matches that night. It was just an incredible show in that match, and I think obviously Jody helped pull that out of you, but you held your own in there as well. It by no means was it. He didn't carry you by any means, but he helped, I think, elevate you and, give you a really, really good match.
Man, that's what's up. Yeah, that's what's up.
And I think that's a real dude. Well, I think part of it as well was a little part of Jody. I mean, he never said this to me, but having seen a lot of Jody's earlier stuff in his earlier career where he was quite, he had a skinnier sort of frame, shall we say, compared to nowadays where he's like bulky and ripped up and everything. I think maybe potentially he saw a bit of himself. With flips. Yeah. I've not heard that one before. That was interesting. But but Jody, like now, obviously where he's so big, like compared to back then, I think potentially, I mean, you made reference to it earlier about how like you have a smaller physique and everything. Maybe he saw a little bit of himself in you.
Yeah, I have a story. I have a small story about that as well.
Oh, go for it.
So, the first time I knew Jody was in the country, shall I say, was when he walked through the door of one of our trainings. Now we already had name dropping like wrestlers that I've personally managed to see him, have a good relationship with. Juventud Guerrero, for instance. I can't remember more. Jeff Jarrett at the time, but yeah, Juventud Guerrero especially. Like, sorry, Juicy man, the Juicy man.
Juicy one.
Yeah. So after that, so that might lead to another segue. I don't know if you want to get into that because that might take a little bit of time to. But yeah, the Juicy one. Wow. I think another one of my proudest moments is Lucha Britannia as an acolyte, the three of us versus the Monkey and the Juicy one, Juventud Guerrero. When I saw, we're the only ones to know the match card pretty much on the day it's happening. So that's how much time we got to prepare for it. And that brought me back to my first WCW. I don't know if it was a pay-per-view or it was just a regular show that I watched at the time. But Juicy was one of those people at the card, and I literally burst out into tears. I was like, wow, that's the dude. My first ever wrestling match I saw, pretty much. I get to wrestle him on the card. So
yeah,
after
that's
that,
really
I think when you see stuff like that happening on a regular, and great people walking through your door, you start to get more numb. You start to get a little bit more numb to it because you're now used to it. It's now a family. It's less of being a fan. It's more like right, we're doing this together now. So Jody Fleisch walks through the door, and I remember a match that he was in, Triple Threat, when I was younger. My first ever wrestling match live was him on the show. It was a PW show. I can't remember it. I was about 12 at the time. But he was the main event. And, we usually, like me and my friend back in the day, we would used to relate certain wrestlers to other characters. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I get what you mean.
So an R-Truth in a... it wasn't a TNA show at the time. It was something before TNA. I'm really bad with names, man. So I've got brain fart all over. He would have been a Booker T, basically. And Booker T is one of my favorite wrestlers, if you didn't know.
Right. I do know that.
So and they had a little bit of a Gauntlet Royal Rumble going on. So again, I get to re-pick a few bits. D'Lo Brown was in it and stuff. And, Buff Bagwell's like, wow, I've seen these guys before. They all wrestling on this show? Wow. I don't know if that you can find that show anywhere on TV. It's hard to find it on YouTube anywhere, but yeah. So when Jody Fleisch hit the curtain, and I think Christopher Daniels was on it, he was a Stone Cold, bald head.
Okay.
That's how we related our characters. Which one's the closest one that we know? And so Jody Fleisch would have been the Rey Mysterio of that show. It was like, wow, we got Rey Mysterio in it too. Wow. So yeah, he had this match. He got injured in it doing a shooting star press, and that was sad to see. So we had to watch the rest of the match. The Stone Cold Christopher Daniels won his, and yeah, it was awesome. It was absolute epic. I don't know if I remember the whole of the show anyway.
Oh, that's
but
sweet,
yeah,
man. I had no idea you'd actually watched Jody when you were a kid.
He was my first British pay-per-view match I saw. Mom took me and my friend towards it, and that's when it was all crazy. Everybody was swearing. The environment was crazy. So, yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool.
Yeah, and then along comes Jody, walked through the door like nothing happened, like a trainer or something like that. And I'm like, no way. Knew it was straight away. He started, teaching us some techniques. That we could do a bit better and stuff. I think we were both trying to do flips to feet and stuff. And then I was just in the moment. I'm like, wow, I'm doing flips with Jody, man. He's doing back flips. I'm doing like front flips. I'm giving him a few ideas here and there. And yeah, I just literally fucking, again, my emotional ass self that can't believe I'm in this moment, out of just training, just burst out in tears. I'm like, wow. This is the dream right here. I'm living the dream with these wrestlers right here.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's when it fucked me up because I was like, shit, how's Jody gonna react? Is he gonna slap me in the face or some shit? Am I gonna get blacklisted? All sorts. But I knew I wasn't supposed to be here, but I was here, and I was reaping all the benefits from it. That's one thing I did know.
Yeah.
So that's how I felt at the time, and that's probably when he got after that show. Because we was on the same. No, we wasn't on the same card, but yeah, he had a conversation with you about it, and yeah, he asked for me in the match.
Yeah. No. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I did not know that backstory. That's really cool, man.
yeah. So that's for
Yeah.
everybody,
No,
Yeah,
that's a really really nice story, man. Yeah, like I said, I had no idea that was the case. So that I guess that kind of explains why Jody wanted to wrestle you. Clearly, you had a nice impact on him when he met you.
yeah.
So moving swiftly on as we're gonna be wrapping this thing up soon, and
By all means, yeah.
I've got a bit of a game to challenge you with to finish
Oh
this
shit!
thing off.
Shoot.
But before we get to that, well, one thing I wanna ask because I'm always curious especially when it comes to like a lot of the younger talent and stuff like that. What kind of
Yeah.
if and when, in fact, I'm gonna try and stop saying if because we got to be positive. When all of this COVID stuff finishes and wrestling comes back,
Mm.
what are your goals? Like whether it be long term or short term, like what kind of stuff do you want to be doing when this all comes back?
Okay, so I promised myself I was going to do this as long as I could, if I liked it. Um, I've literally passed the goals, long past the goals that I already expected to do.
Mm.
I need to make some money on the real. Not saying we got to rely on that, but like stuff like AEW, WWE. They're probably not gonna like me saying this, but you could treat your family members, the people that helped you.
Yeah.
You could give them give them places, But so, and I would like to do it in a career that I know I could possibly embellish well in, because I think there's still more to just the Buffalo Soldier. As you know, with this interview, I was dreading doing this interview because you get to hear the real me. You don't get to hear me talk on the mic that much because I've got a character to keep in a little bit and all that. But yeah, so there's possibly those, or if there's a new company, whether it is in the Caribbean or somewhere outside, if I can go to new territories and start doing new promotions, because we also done something I never imagined. It was a resurgence, and it was Black History Month. It was our first. So Eve has got an all women's show that we're helping skyrocket. It was our first all black show.
Mm-hmm.
All black show just to celebrate, how far things have come, and that in itself is amazing because again, there's not many compared to a lot of people. There's not many of us, so if we do our shows, we really got to stand out to keep our spots in a way. So this is the one time where it was it. So again, like if it was a Caribbean show, I think Caribbeans needs a taste of this magic, Africa, something like that. I think if we could bring a lot of like training down there, it can give those type of people opportunities as well. Whether I'll be the head trainer or a co-trainer or someone who can help out within the industry to give a platform. And it doesn't even have to be. It could be some places in Asia as well.
Yeah. Well, that's actually really interesting and cool sort of goal to have, I guess. So like you'd like to go to Jamaica or somewhere in the Caribbean and actually start a wrestling school one day.
Yeah, give them a real platform. So then when the real ones come along and do some training, they won't need me no more, really. Because I'm the best Buffalo I could be, but it's a character,
Cool.
I think they need a little bit of the real thing there. Oh, and number two, I got to enter the thing that has brought me here in the first place. I need to get into some more Royal Rumbles at some point. So if there's any promotions that are doing the Rumble, I don't even care if they're too strong and I can't chuck them out. Whether the crowd still remembers who I am, if that brings a little bit of spark when I enter the room or something, or a big boo because I could be a mean guy sometimes because my emotions get to me, then by all means, I'd love to enter a Royal Rumble and just add a little bit more flavor in there.
Yeah, no, I know how much you love a Royal Rumble.
Yes. Battle Royals and Royal Rumbles are different.
Yeah. So okay, well that's awesome, man. That's really cool. Like you got some really good goals there, and I like how honest you were as well, because I think that this is the thing, right? That a lot of people forget about wrestling sometimes, where so many of us we get into it because we love it. You sometimes lose track of the fact that it is a business and you do need to make money.
Yeah.
We all got bills to pay at the end of the day. So that it's good that
yeah, sorry.
No, it's cool, man. But it's good that you've got your head screwed on and you're in this, yes, because you love it, but also because you want to make a career out of it and you want to make some money. Because at the end of the day, if you're not making money, then
you can't continue.
You can't. Yeah, exactly. You're not going to be able to keep doing it because you need to be able to afford not only to live and pay your bills and all that, but even just in the wrestling side of things, you need to be able to buy your gear, your training gear, you pay for your training school, pay for traveling around to shows and stuff. Like you've got to be realistic, and it's good that you're doing that, man. But
thanks, man.
That's cool. So, like I said, we're going to wrap this up now with a little bit of a game, and we're going to throw back to something you mentioned earlier. So, for anybody who doesn't know, my brother Cam right here, he has an affinity for star signs, and he's we call it like it's Cam's secret skill. He seems to know everybody's star sign. So today, Cam, I'm gonna put you to the test.
Okay.
I've got 5 names, and I want you to tell me their star sign. But now I know that recently there's been like a whole new thing about this new star sign. And I don't know anything about that, and I couldn't be bothered.
I couldn't even get to that as well. I'll tell you that.
I'm sure you could.
Whether it's my opinion or a fact, it's a whole bunch of bogus.
Yeah, well, I'm not buying into all of that. So we're going to base this on the original star signs only, with like the old star sign calendar, not the new one. We ignore the whole. Let's pretend that didn't happen. So based on all of the old ones, you've just got to tell me what star sign the following people have, and they're going to gradually get a bit harder.
Ooh, okay. Let's see.
So you ready? How many? Let's have a guess here. I'm going to give you 5 names. How many do you think you'll get?
I'm going to guess none. Low expectations usually end up with high rewards. So we'll see.
So under promise, over deliver, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go.
That's how we do, babe.
Number 1, nice and easy. Me, Kosta.
Libra.
I am a Libra. Can you, for extra points, do you know what the day my birthday is?
Oh, that's a tough one. It's October something. October. Blimey. 14th?
Close. It's the 12th.
Damn. I knew it was on
So now you got one. You got 1 point. You got Libra. Okay. Number 2, Malik.
Pisces.
That is correct. 3, it's Greg Burridge.
Virgo.
All right, now we're going outside of Lucha here on this.
A little bit tougher.
This one you want to get right, because this could be potentially your boss one day. Let's try out Vince McMahon.
Virgo. Same. He's exactly the same horoscope as Greg Burridge.
There you go.
Hey, looky here. There we go.
I'm hoping I can catch you out with this one, but I have a feeling you're going to nail this one. This is the last one.
I might get one wrong on purpose.
No. If you know it, you jump straight in. So here it is. Cam, a gentleman who I believe is your favorite wrestler. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he's your favorite wrestler.
Oh,
the Booker Man, Booker T.
Oh. Do I have to?
Yeah, if you know it, you can nail it if you know it. If you don't know it, then have a guess.
Listen, man, I'm sorry to book, man. I've taken a few of your moves here and there. I got mad respect for what you do. Keep it up, because you do inspire a lot of people. And that is the truth, you know? The 5-time WCW champion, the greatness, the King Booker is a Pisces.
He is a Pisces. Wow. Okay, 5 for 5. There you go. You nailed it, mate. You got
There
them
you
all.
go.
There you go.
Got
Big
them all,
points.
man.
Oh wow.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Well, those are the only ones who I actually wrote down. So I'm
Yeah,
gutted I didn't manage to catch you out. So I'm just going to throw one more at you. And to be fair, you
sure
could get
thing.
this. You can get this one wrong, and I wouldn't even know
You,
because I don't know.
uh,
I'll look it up after and find out. But I'm going to throw another name at you. Are you ready?
absolutely.
All right. D'Lo Brown.
Libra.
Now I've got to look it up. I've got to actually look this up.
You can look it up now if you want, man.
No,
I don't mind.
I'm gonna look it down. I'm gonna
Yeah,
look it up,
he
man.
is your zodiac sign, my dude.
Oh my god, he is. He's 22nd of October. He is a Libra.
Yeah,
Wow.
on the
Okay. Well, there you
cusp of
go.
Scorpio.
So
Gotcha.
if you ever any listeners out there ever want to test the Buffalo Soldier next time you see him at a show, just
Yeah,
throw people at him and see if he can guess their star sign. That's there you go.
that'd be awesome. Yeah,
I
that'd be
just
so awesome.
I'll just never forget the first time that you just suddenly knew everyone's star sign. The first time I sussed that you had a big thing with this, it just freaked me out. Something rotten.
That's the thing about wrestling. You gotta have you gotta have something that is out of this world to, you know, you gotta have that thing about you, whatever it is, because hey, you know, it's easy to get lost in the sauce sometimes, you know?
Oh, I thought you were making a joke about being out of this world and stars and star signs and all that stuff. But anyway, but no, cool, man. Well, thanks for doing the podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope
Thank
you had fun.
Well, means thank you for having me. It's been awesome. Yeah, thank you for listening. For anyone who's listening out there, really enjoyed your time.
No problem, bro. Have you got any social medias you want to plug or anything you're doing that you want to plug?
Okay, if you guys want to find me, I am at Buffalo Lucha. That is Instagram, at Buffalo Lucha. I'm also El Ray Anansi at El Ray Anansi on Instagram. Twitter, The Buffalo Soldier, as you know, and Twitter, El Ray Anansi.
There you
You can
go.
find me there. I guess I need to post a little bit more, but I just need to, you know, be in a position where I can put in a lot more content because this COVID-19 has got us messed up. So,
Yeah.
yes.
That's cool, man. Well, like I said, thanks for being on the pod, and we will, hopefully I'll see you soon, man.
Oh, time to cringe. Okay,
Take care,
cool.
brother.
Take care, man. Have a lovely one.
Cool. All right, yeah, cool. So I'll edit that, and that'll be chopped up and done there. Sweet, man. Well, thanks for like I said, yeah, thanks for doing it, man.
Yeah, thank you. You've been great, man. Thank you. Like I've never done podcasts before, so
Nah,
yeah, I've just been worried I'll give away something I didn't want to give away, you know.
No,
But
everything was
yeah,
fine. Everything was easy. Good. Told some good stories and had a good bit of fun. We'll put that up. That'll be up on Friday.
Okay, thank you, man.
No
All
worries,
right.
bro.
Woof.
Sweet. Well, I'm gonna let you go because I've got to go and do some stuff. But yeah.
By all means, yeah.
Take care of yourself, man.
Yeah. Great seeing you. Great seeing your well as well.
You too, bro. Look after yourself.
You too. Take care, man.
Bye.